Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come,
Thy will be done, on earth
as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Thine is the kingdom,
And the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. We'll start with item D this evening, the American 250 flag presentation by the Henry County Historical Society. Kevin, if I can have you grab that gate for us.
We'll keep it brief.
No rush at all.
Yeah, Council President, this is Brian Tills from the Henry County Historical Society.
Spoke before. I told you at some point I'd bring you a flag. Well, it's a future flag. Now, it's made to be flown outside, so we encourage you to fly it outside. It is double-sided. It's made for the outside. So we encourage you to do that, keeping in mind that our presentations start at the fairgrounds in 2025. And we'll run all the way through 2026. We would appreciate it if you would fly the flag outside. If you would choose to fly it inside, that's fine too, but it's made for outside, so there you go.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is nice.
Thank you.
Going away present. It's a having you It is, very nice.
All right, after that, we'll have the swearing in of Police Lieutenant David Stewart.
Appreciate that.
How we doing? Good. You? All right, you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
All right, raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, David Stewart,
I, David Stewart,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the laws of the state of Ohio,
the laws of the state of Ohio,
and the charter, ordinances, and resolutions
and the charter, ordinances, and resolutions
of the city of Napoleon, Ohio,
of the city of Napoleon, Ohio,
and will faithfully discharge,
and will faithfully discharge,
according to law and best of my ability,
according to law and best of my ability,
the duties of police lieutenant
the duties of police lieutenant
to which I have been appointed.
to which I have been appointed.
Congratulations. Words here, and
I will. I have been given the honor and asked to pin the lieutenant's badge on Lieutenant Stewart. I always pass this along to a family member if they so wish, but it is bestowed on me tonight. Lieutenant Stewart has been a stalwart part of this department for a number of years and has been a steady person for me to lean on. I have a spectacular command staff that takes care of maintaining the standards on our department and keep our people running smooth and provides just a wonderful baseline so that the officers can get out there and protect the people. And that's what we're here about. So, thank you, David.
the floor is yours. If you would like to say a couple words, you can. If not, you don't have to.
I reckon I can thank the Napoleon Police Department, specifically Chief Legg, Assistant Chief Roofer who's not here, for the support, my family back there, wife, 3 kids, sacrifices that we've made together. So hopefully I can continue to do a good job for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Need your signature on that, and then you can.
Thanks, sir.
No alias.
Not this time, huh?
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, as always, everyone's invited to stay. I thought this was the time. While they exit, we'll move to item F, the approval of minutes. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the minutes shall stand approved from the March 17th, 2025 regular council meeting. I'm hearing none. They will stand approved. Item G is citizen communication. If anyone is in attendance or online, they would like to address council, now is the time to do so. Hearing none. Item H is reports from council committees. H1, the Finance and Budget Committee met on March 24th, 2025. And Tom.
And we'll be recommending to council to approve the 2025 first quarter adjustments.
Thank you, sir. H2, the Safety and Human Resource Committee did meet on March 24th, 2025. And Jordan, I'll pass it to you.
Discuss proposed changes to the fire and rescue fee structure and also received an update on the purchase of a fire truck.
Thank you, sir. Item H, the Personnel Committee did meet on March 31st, 2025. And Mr. Mayor.
Yes, tonight, we will make a recommendation to the rest of council for our recommendation for the new city manager. We will do that in executive session.
Thank you, sir. H4, the Technology and Communications Committee did not meet earlier tonight due to lack of agenda items. Item J1 is resolution number 013-25, a resolution authorizing the finance director to transfer certain fund balances, transfer number 2, from respective funds to other funds pursuant to ORC section 5705.14 on an as-needed basis in the fiscal year 2025 as listed in Exhibit A and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Thank you. Kevin.
Thank you, Council President. This is the first of 3, and we would ask for suspension of all 3 so we could close out the first quarter. The first one is a transfer of funds, and this one here is where we actually take money from the fund, in this case the general fund, and then we take that money and apply it to another fund. In this case, it's the 227 Cemetery Trust Fund. The reason this is a unique case why we're doing this, the reason that we are doing this is that it was looked back on older ordinances that we were not supposed to be, and we've been doing this for a while, spending anything other than the interest out of the 227 Cemetery Trust Fund. After some discussion with the city manager, we decided that we would go back 3 years and repay the 227 fund. So that's what this amount is. So 2 things that took place here. There was some items that were paid out of that fund for cemetery purposes, which is the responsibility of the general fund anyway. So we're repaying that back from the last 3 years. Plus, when revenue came in, the revenue of the sales of the lots was split 50-50. 50% of it went to the 227 Trust Fund, Cemetery Trust Fund. The other portion went into the 100 fund, the general fund. I can tell you that this has been going on for a while, but we have corrected this moving forward. And to replenish the trust fund, we went back 3 years, and that is the amount that we're going to replenish the trust fund. Moving forward, there is no more paying out of that fund, and the revenues of any lot sales all go 100% into that trust fund.
Thank you, Kevin. Any other questions or comments?
Motion for suspension?
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll on suspension.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Please call the roll on the resolution.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
That is passed on first read by suspension under emergency. Item J2 is ordinance number 014-25, an ordinance supplementing the annual appropriation measure, supplement number 1 for the fiscal year 2025, and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Thank you. Kevin?
Thank you again, Council President. This here is the supplemental number 1, and this is where we actually increase our budget line items. These were all discussed in the Finance and Budget Committee. I will explain any of those that anyone on council wishes to have questions for, but just a couple of them that I'll point out to is I'll go up to the top, the $21,000 for the hospitalization insurance. When we did the budget last year, an individual that worked for the cemetery did not get the insurance, and then during open enrollment they did, so we didn't budget the amount because we only budget those that have the insurance at the time. And this does happen occasionally when people have a change in their condition, their life, and something happens. The $37,000 for supplies is that budget increase, is most of that is for the resolution that we just passed for that $32,000. Moving down the $71,000 in the rec fund. Many discussion about pickleball courts, but to pay for the pickleball courts, we didn't budget for it, so that's what that is for, is an increase in that budget. The $135,000 out of the 420 one-time strategic community grant fund was an oversight during the budgeting process, or it was actually a Scribner's error. We budgeted it, but it didn't get into the resolution. We have the money. That is the money for the grant that paid for the painting of the south side
Yes, that's correct.
water tower. So it's just a matter that there was a Scribner's errors on the budget for that. And then the no-cat caring fund. The no-cat caring fund is, we have a policy in place that some people pay over their electric amount, and when they do, we transfer that to NOCAC to help offset people that need extra funds. And another thing that we found is that we haven't paid them since 2020 or before. So we went back and calculated how much we need to pay them, and that's the amount that'll be going to them. A little bit under that. So,
Is that typically paid on an annual basis?
the NOCAC caring fund, yes. Yeah, yeah, we have, there's a few people that like, they round up the cents, or they'll have like an additional, say, $5 per month. That number is largely just because it was discovered that for whatever reason, several years ago, it was stopped refunding them to them or paying them, and this corrects that matter moving forward.
Is there a process in place now to avoid that from happening in the future?
There's a process on our end, yes. And not to throw anybody under the bus, that NOCAC never contacted us either about where the money's at. Not their responsibility. It's our program. But yes, we have it in place. It's one of our year-end checklists. Make sure that we pay that out. So, again, I ask for suspension on these, and if anyone has any additional questions, I'll be more than happy to let you know.
Questions, comments from council?
Motion for suspension.
Sir?
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll on suspension.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
And please call the roll on the ordinance.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave? Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
All right, that has been approved on first read under emergency by suspension. Item J3 is ordinance number 015-25, an ordinance authorizing the finance director to make appropriation transfer of appropriation 1 from one appropriation line item to another appropriation line item pursuant to ORC section 5705.40 for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, as listed in Exhibit A, and declaring an emergency. Have a motion here?
Motion?
Second.
Thank you. Kevin?
Okay, on this last one, again, we would ask for suspension on this. This is where the overall budget does not increase. This is where if we have something budgeted in one line item, we move it to the other line item, and we take that away from the said line item. So there's, if you do look through here and you see undefined contingencies, which are 1, 2, 3 of those line items is that we budget a certain amount every year, and then if there's something that comes up throughout the year that, hey, this broke and we didn't anticipate this breaking, for example, then we may pull the money from the undefined contingencies. And that's what 3 of those are. The other ones, it's either appropriated to the wrong account or not, that the funds wasn't needed out of one line item and then switched to the other. Any questions, I'll be more than happy to entertain.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions from council?
Motion for suspension?
Second.
Michaela, please call the roll for suspension.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Any other questions? Hearing none, Michaela, please call the roll on the ordinance, please.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
All right, that is passed on first reading. Under emergency by suspension.
The Finance Department thanks you for allowing us to move forward.
All right, item K is second reading of ordinances and resolutions. There are none this evening. Item L, the third reading of ordinances and resolutions. We have L1 is ordinance number 011-25, an ordinance amending chapter 951 of the codified ordinances of the city of Napoleon, Ohio, specifically sections 951.04 and 951.05. Do you have a motion?
A motion?
Second.
Andy?
Yes, Council President, since this is third and final read, I'll refrain from being too wordy and just say there are no changes to the ordinance from the previous reads.
Thank you, sir. Anything additional from council? Michaela, please call the roll.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave? Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
All right, that is passed on third reading. Thank you, Andy. To item M, good of the city. M1 is discussion or action, the renewal of liquor permits in the city of Napoleon. Billy, do you want that one?
I can certainly talk about it. I think this is the annual renewal. There's nothing really special about it. Again, the thing that we discussed, maybe not last council meeting, but the one before, regarding potential objections, they would need to be specific. If we had a specific address or permit holder that was a nuisance in town, or was causing, a lot of problems, a lot of police involvement, something going on like that, then there would be the potential for attempting to object in a situation like that. And there are some statutes that list the grounds that are used to potentially do that. I'm unaware of any issues with the current permit holders who are seeking renewal here. But that's the process. This is an annual renewal. And again, silence is acceptance in this situation. And if anybody wants to read all about the very interesting reasons to object, I've brought them with me, but I'll refrain from doing that unless somebody wants to hear about it. So.
Thank you, Billy.
If any of you took time to read through these, it's rather entertaining because it's like, it goes back 50 years on these permits. And they're in there from Hondo's Locker Room to the Wellington Hotel to Rudy's Carryout. I mean, places that haven't been in operation for a number of years. There's a lot of them. Chief, you don't have any?
We had no coverage.
Thank you all. Any concerns or questions from council? All right, I'm hearing none. We will move to item M2, discussion or action, the appointment of a new member to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Mr. Mayor.
I'd like to appoint Christopher Chamberlain to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Can we have a motion for that appointment, please?
So move.
Second.
Okay, please call the roll.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Thank you all.
Number 3, discussion or action, discussion to transfer of funds from Fund 521 Sewer Replacement Fund to Fund 435 East Washington Street Improvement Fund.
I'll take that, Council President.
Okay.
This is more of a discussion than an action, unless there's objection to this. What we are doing in the Finance Department is we have the project called the East Washington Street Improvement Project, which started this week, I believe, or sometime soon. And it's between a $3 and $4 million project, and it has various grants that's involved with it. What we want to do is we flag this project in the Finance Department is to pay this out of its own fund. So we have some inactive funds that have been idle for several years. We can rename these funds. We don't have to have a resolution or ordinance to create these new funds. They're just renamed because they have been idle for 5 or more years. And so what we would like to do is we are going to rename Fund 435 to the East Washington Street Improvement Fund. What happens, or what will happen with that is that we will have some quite large second quarter budget adjustments, which all these budget adjustments will be signed by Council President and brought to the Finance and Budget Committee and these budget increases to the 435 fund offset dollar to dollar what was budgeted in the 521 fund. So basically what it's doing is it's taking the budgeted amounts out of the 521 fund, which is our water improvement fund, and putting it into its own separate fund with that. Again, I don't think there needs to be a motion or anything, just silence is approval if there's objections with that. But you will see those changes in the second quarter budget adjustments. And again, it's going to be between $3.5 to $4 million worth of changes with that. So overall, our budget won't change, but it's just going to be moved to that fund. When we have an auditing purposes that we get audited every year, this makes it a lot cleaner. We're not reinventing the wheel on this. This was a common thing that I'll go back to Greg Heath days that did this. When he left, this practice was not done anymore, and we would like to go back to that practice. So this is not unusual in the world of accounting to do it this way. If anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to entertain them. If not, it's more informational unless there's objection.
I'll open the floor for questions. Very good. Thank you, Kevin. Item M4 is discussion or action to recommend of award for the 2025 miscellaneous streets improvements project. Andy?
Yes, Council President, I will pass that off to my Public Works Director to talk about this issue.
Yes, good evening, Council. Last Wednesday, we received 3 bids for the 2025 miscellaneous street improvement project. As mentioned when it was brought forward to Council, this will be the reconstruction of Newark Drive, a very short section of Bordeaux Drive, and then all of Becca Lane. We received 3 bids. The low bid was Ward Construction Company. They have done work for the city in the past, including the extension of Raymond Street, and then last year they did the work here in front of the city building on Front Street, including the 2 parking lots. Their bid was $411,114. Having reviewed the bid, everything was complete. It is my recommendation to award the project to Ward Construction Company in the amount of $411,114. Per my memo, the completion date for this project is October 31st.
Thank you, Chad.
Yep.
All right. Unless there are any questions, I would entertain a motion to award the bid.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Abstain.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
All right, has been awarded. Thank you, Chad. Item M5, discussion or action, recommendation of award for the 2025 sanitary sewer cleaning. Andy, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, and I will pass this along to Chad, as this was also one of the bid openings during the marathon bid session on Wednesday.
Yeah, that was an experience. Last week, another bid that we had opened was for the 2025 sanitary sewer cleaning project. We only received one bid, however, the bid was from the company that has done the work for the past several years, and it was below the engineer's estimate. Advanced Rehabilitation Technology was the low bidder at $88,976.25. It is my recommendation to award year one to them, and just for informational purposes, we did receive bids for years 2 and 3. We will review those at the end of this year, and if we choose to bring those forward, those will come to council for award at that time. So tonight, we're only requesting the award of the 2025 sanitary sewer cleaning program to Advanced Rehabilitation Technology.
Thank you, Chad. Any questions or comments from council? Would entertain a motion to award the 2025 sanitary sewer cleaning bid.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
That has been awarded. Thank you again, Chad. M6, discussion or action, direct the law director to draft legislation for SALT contract. Andy, you want that one?
I'll pass it along to Chad.
For the members of council that have been here for a few years, are familiar with our SALT contract that we received from the state. Of course, it showed up Friday morning, and we're here at council requesting the legislation be drafted. Everything is due back to the state of Ohio on May 2nd. So if we could have the legislation drafted for the next meeting, at the next meeting, I'll request emergency and suspension. That way we can have everything back in time, because we do not have another council meeting before that May 2nd deadline. We budgeted $20,000 this year for salt. It's our intention to request 200 ton. Through this past winter, we used a little over 500 ton, but the barn is still very full. So we are going to request 200 ton in that contract. We have to guess on a price. We are guessing it should not exceed $100 per ton. Hence, we budgeted $20,000 out of two of our 200 funds, the 204 and the 200. But this is the contract that comes up every year. We have to commit, and then we find out a price. But since the state of Ohio bids it, we get pretty good pricing.
Thank you, Chad.
Yep.
Can we have a motion to direct the law director?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Thank you again, Chad. We will go around the table. Kevin, I'll start with you.
I have nothing.
Tom? Dr. Dave? Brittany?
No, no, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
I just see that with our new parking lot here, someone drove through the area, and this time it looks like they were going the wrong way.
At 10:25 Saturday evening.
Oh, you looked at the, okay. So, do we have any plans, or we have some ideas of maybe some way of deterring that from happening in the future? Any thoughts?
I will talk once again with my Public Works Director. I have some thoughts and ideas, but
And I noticed it this afternoon. I hadn't noticed it before that, and I didn't get a chance to talk to the city manager. We had previously put a stone berm in there earlier this year. There are some other things we can try, and maybe we'll discuss that at staff or at staff meeting tomorrow morning or at another time. He and the operations superintendent and I can try to come up with some ideas.
Okay.
I cannot put big rocks there.
I was thinking maybe the next stone berm should be stones this big.
Maybe we can put a statue of Andy there when he retires. Make it knocked over, but That's all I
That's a
have.
little damage.
Mr. Hayes?
I have nothing.
Mr. Weitzel?
Nothing.
Jordan?
Nothing for me.
Billy?
Nothing for me.
Andy?
That leaves me a lot of time. I have a few issues. First off is seasonal pickup, and an issue that we encounter every single time we have it. But I think I just want everybody to know, if somebody ever asks you, hey, are we allowed to take stuff out of the garbage? The answer is no. We have an ordinance in place, specifically 925.15, that does not allow removal of garbage or refuse. And it just clearly states, unlawful for any person other than an employee of the city to remove any garbage, refuse, rubbish, or other waste placed for collection or disposal. And that's been in place for 30 years. So I just want people to be aware of it, that it's not legal for them to be going around specifically grabbing our metal out, because that is one way that we try to recoup some of our costs. Source water protection. I invited Jeff here this evening because we'd like to ask for approval on some grant funds that we've received in order to buy some equipment and some signage. And if Jeff, you could just tell them what the equipment is and what it does. And
We actually put it in the budget this year to replace our intake water quality sonde that kind of gives us real-time data of what the river is doing as we're pulling water into our intake. So we have had that one sonde in place for probably been 7 or 8 years now. It's been very good to us. Last year we lost communication with it. Well, it apparently died, and we had sent it back to the company to get it replaced. And they said it was not repairable. We needed to buy a new one. So we put that in the budget this year. We caught wind that the source water grant was going to be coming out again a year last year. So I did some calling around to find out if that would be something that would qualify for that, and it did. So I put in a request to see if we would be awarded that money from the state for that. And then the plant staff, we've been working on getting our source water plan for the city of Napoleon endorsed by the state EPA for probably about 3 or 4 years now. We have finalized that. We did get endorsed from the Ohio EPA for that. We're still working on a few things with it. One of them would be locations for signage for spill reporting. And then in that grant, that was one of the things that we could apply for is signage to put up at river crossings, railroad crossings that go over, tributaries that can affect the water supply. So once we get some final locations, we'll figure out how we want to work through that and get those purchased. But I did put in a request to the state for 10 signs with posts, so that way we wouldn't have to pay for those out of our pocket as well. And we were awarded that. So.
thank you, Jeffrey. And I guess what we request is just approval to accept the grant for $12,324.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Andy. Do we have a motion to approve or accept the grant funding?
Motion.
Second. Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Hayes?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes. That's been approved.
Thank you very much. One other thing I included in the packet this week was the water quality report that Jeff put together. It just basically addresses all of the pertinent and potential issues with our water quality, specifically to Napoleon. So included it in there. If you read through it and have any questions, feel free to reach out, but I would suggest you reach out to Jeff because he'll have the answers quicker than I. The final thing is, I know there's a couple of executive sessions already, but I would also like to request an executive session for acquisition of property.
Thank you, Andy.
That's all I have. Thank you.
With the executive session mentioned, I would just entertain a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Dave had a mulligan, so.
Yeah, sorry about that. There's been a reoccurring problem with full-size vehicles riding down the bike path in between the fire station and the water intake. I have seen it twice. First time was a full-size four-wheel drive vehicle, second time was a bucket truck. Since the city has put so much into laying a nice
bike path like that, but it doesn't have the foundation for full-size vehicles, we've got to find a better way of preventing them from getting on that, or just being more aware of it. If you see it, let somebody know, police department, because it's not made for that. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Dave. We're going to break these executive sessions up in three to do it right this time. The first one is to consider the appointment, employment, or compensation of a public employee or official. If we could have a motion to go to executive session for that, please.
So move.
Second?
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
All right. The second is for preparing for, conducting, or reviewing collective bargaining strategy. Is there a motion?
No motion.
Don't everyone speak at once.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave? Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
All right, and lastly, going into executive session for the acquisition of property.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
All right. We'll start with acquisition of property, and we'll have everybody in there for that one. We'll make a motion, or I will entertain a motion to come out of executive session to consider the appointment, employment, or compensation of a public employee or official.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave? Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Also entertain a motion to come out of executive session for preparing for, conducting, or reviewing collective bargaining strategy.
A motion?
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
All right, and lastly, entertain a motion to come out of executive session for the acquisition of property.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, one more time, please.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave? Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
All right, no action taken on all three fronts. Billy, do you have the verbiage of this motion that needs to be done?
Motion to direct the law director to draft legislation appointing as city manager, starting on whichever date you choose.
April 28th.
All right, so we're gonna take Billy's words, and we are going to appoint Ms. Lori Sinclair as our city manager, beginning April 28th. If we can have a motion to direct the law director to draft that legislation, please.
Motion.
Second.
Michaela, please call the roll.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
All right. Item O, approve payment of bills. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the payment of bills shall stand approved.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
In the paper, there was an article that said that each county in the state gets $1 million from brownfield to take care of brownfield
Correct.
factories, that type of stuff, and 500,000 to take care of old houses. Have we ever seen any of that money?
Goes to the county, you say?
For each county?
If I could answer that,
Sure.
Council President, Councilman Hayes. From my experiences with the county, the commissioners have used brownfield money to tear down various houses. In fact, some of those have been in the city of Napoleon, and various other places throughout the county. So I don't know the specifics about what you're talking about, but that is typically controlled by, what is?
Land bank.
Land Bank,
Um,
yes.
Was that a recent article?
Yes, it was either Friday or Saturday.
Okay.
And I don't remember which, I think it was in the Crescent, but I'm not sure.
We have a land bank board meeting coming up. I know that they hadn't doled out that funding yet for brownfields for this year and next. So perhaps it's related to that.
Okay.
I wasn't aware of it. I sure will, or should find out at the Land Bank Board meeting. So,
I know there's brownfield grants we can apply for through Maumee Valley Planning Organization.
Right.
And Maumee Valley Planning does handle a lot of the county funding. I don't know if it's the same thing or not, but I know there is a brownfield grant application through Maumee Valley.
and they handle all of it for the land bank as well. So I should be able to get that answer.
Thank you.
All right, with that, the pending bills shall stand approved. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second?
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave? Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
We are adjourned.